We spend over a decade in school mastering math, geography, and foreign languages. We memorize historical dates and drill complex equations. Yet the mechanics of happiness are entirely absent from the curriculum. We are left to navigate our own emotions as amateurs. For a dog greeting its owner at the door, or a bird singing in the morning sun, joy is a straightforward chemical release. Humans must navigate a far more complex, often contradictory biological reality. This chart breaks down the specific biological factors behind human emotion. Half of our everyday state, a full 50%, is a genetically hardwired baseline. It is a biological starting point we cannot alter. Because we rarely recognize the limits of our biology, we mismanage the half of the equation we actually control. We pour our energy into the wrong things, leaving ourselves entirely exposed when real crises hit. We usually try to maximize that controllable 50% by chasing quick hits. We obsess over social media metrics, counting likes and comments, or we buy the newest phone, assuming these external wins will elevate our mood. Take a look at this emotional timeline. A new purchase or viral post creates a sudden spike in brain chemistry. But as the graph shows, this feeling is unsustainable. The moment novelty wears off, our mood plummets, often dipping slightly below where we started. These fast depreciating emotional hits offer zero psychological armor. When a health scare, a job loss, or a family emergency arrives, a closet full of new purchases provides no actual defense. Chasing material spikes creates a dangerous illusion of security. That fragile facade shatters the second we face unavoidable life challenges. Our life stages actively war against our biological happiness. Early adulthood often brings the temporary emotional high of a new marriage, but that initial boost is quickly tested. When children enter the picture, the data reveals a counterintuitive shift. The compounding friction of lost sleep, of rising daily expenses, and constant demanding caretaking often triggers a steep decline in a parent's day-to-day happiness. This graph illustrates what researchers call the U-curve. It plots a documented chronological decline in our general well-being as we age out of our youth and take on the weight of adulthood. The absolute bottom of this curve consistently hits right around age 48. This is the crunch of the sandwich generation. People in this demographic are caught in the middle, forced to simultaneously care for growing, expensive children and aging, vulnerable parents. The midlife crisis represents a measurable biological and environmental collision. It is the moment where our youthful expectations crash into harsh daily realities. Surviving this midlife nadir requires acknowledging an uncomfortable truth. Financial resources play an outsized role in our emotional survival. In 2010, Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman released a foundational study suggesting that earning more money only boosts happiness up to a specific limit, after which the emotional benefits flatten out. But 13 years later, Kahneman updated his findings. The 2023 data flipped the script, showing that for the vast majority of people, earning more money continuously correlates with higher levels of happiness, with no real plateau. Money buys critical choices. It pays for specialized medical care for an aging parent, or a better school for a struggling child. These resources directly neutralize the stressors that crush the sandwich generation. Look at what happens to the U-curve when those financial buffers don't exist. Without resources to absorb the shock of a crisis, the curve doesn't recover. It fractures into a sharp, catastrophic drop, a V-curve from which it is incredibly difficult to climb out. Financial resources provide the structural support that keeps life's inevitable friction from destroying our baseline peace. Psychological stability demands the brave acceptance of life's inherent unfairness. It requires looking past the desire for a stress-free existence to find footing in reality. Once we accept those realities, we can actively climb the upward slope of the U-curve by shifting our daily habits and resource allocation. This dual infographic shows the difference between buying things and buying experiences. A 10-year-old phone yields zero joy today. However, the compound interest of memory yields the opposite result. A shared trip with family or a long dinner with an old friend appreciates in emotional value every time you look back on it. Material goods decay, while shared experiences function as renewable emotional assets. They appreciate over time, providing a sustainable source of resilience long after the event has passed. There is one final, highly stable tier of psychological well-being that sits above everything else. Intentionally shifting our focus outward, using our time, energy, and resources to help others, overrides our hardwired internal stressors. Providing value to someone else creates an enduring sense of purpose that external circumstances cannot easily break. Authentic happiness remains a resilient baseline, built by accepting harsh realities, investing in shared experiences, and redirecting our resources toward others.